Now let's get to managing the time. Remember that I told you that I was going to die? It's real, I'm going to die. The fear of death is so powerful that it motivates and encourages people to do unbelievable things. You'll have more power, strength, and courage to do anything when you realize that you are going to die. Do you think that you will die? If so, be very positive about the death because it is the only thing that is the most certain in any person's life. Once you take death as very positive, that you didn't die yet, you can understand and realize the importance of every minute that passes by and the uncertainty of the time left in your life. Once you are into this mindset, now make time. Make time for what you really need and make time to do those things before you die. There is a unique relationship between the time available and the punctuality. If your time management is poor, then the time available for you to do all what you need is very less. Once you start improving your time management, you will feel that you have time to do things. Once you are perfected in the art of managing your time, you will realize that you actually have all the time you need. What do you think of your ideas? Can you remember and write down all the ideas you had in the past 24 hours? Please pause this course and write down all the ideas you can remember from the past 24 hours. Your brain comes up with a whole bunch of ideas all the time, but you keep forgetting them. Only the ideas that you have repeatedly in your head end up as your ideas. You actually have hundreds of ideas per day. All of those fade out, and you end up with remembering just one. If you use the notebook to take note of all your ideas, then you will have all your raw ideas saved. The same applies for your tasks. If you have your tasks noted down on a notebook, you wouldn't waste time on a least important task when you actually have the most important task waiting. When this continues, sorry, where was I? Sorry. When this continues, you will fail because you forgot, and you will regret because you failed, and because you are in a state of regret, you will forget again. This will cause you to have a chronic dissatisfaction, which will judge you as a failure. No one else would judge you, but you will judge yourself as a failure. Take note of everything you remember, and you all of us. Now, most of us don't understand the value of time because we don't know how to measure the value of time. Let's try and give a monetary value to the time. Time doesn't come with a monetary value, and you should not apply monetary value to your time. But yet, for calculation purposes, let's do that. Let's say that you have 1 minute. Let's say that your 1 minute has $0.1 value. Then your 10 minutes will cost you $1. One day would cost you $144, and a month would cost you $4,320. In other words, if you earn $4,320 per month, you will lose $1 every 10 minutes. Yeah, if you are spending 10 minutes of your time without making $1, you are at the losing end in terms of finances. This is one of the values for time, but the financial value is not the only value for time. You certainly will come across situations where time has other values which you cannot calculate financially. Before looking at the art of wasting time, let's do a small calculation. Pick up your notebook and calculate your income per minute from your monthly income. Post the course and do it. Now, you know the cash value of your time. Remember, never value time with money, but this is a good way to understand the value of your own time. The art of wasting time. Yes, for a few people, it's an art to wasting time. You will have to watch them carefully and wonder how well they waste their time. Now let's do a calculation. If you lose 5 minutes a day, how much time will you lose in 50 years? Please pause this course, do the calculation, write down your notebook and come back. It doesn't matter if my calculation is right or wrong. It does matter that you understand how much time could you waste without knowing the magnitude and the impact of the time and the wastage of it. If you continued to waste 5 minutes for long enough, you'd lose 5.8 full days in just 5 years. And then if you lived 50 years and wasted 5 minutes daily, that's equivalent to dying around 2 months early. There is more to it. If someone lived another 60 years and wasted 65 minutes a day, how much would they lose in their entire life? Let's see how much in total could we lose if we wasted a certain amount of time consistently each day for life. If you managed to waste 100 minutes a day and lived for 60 years, it's like dying 4 years early. It's not just your time. Think about the time of other people. If you manage to waste time for others, then it is like killing them early. If you are someone who deals with a lot of people and if you manage to waste their time, then you should feel like a murderer because that's what's happening when you waste other people's time. Imagine if you have 1,000 people listening to you and you waste just 6 minutes. It's in 100 human hours wasted. That has consequences. If you are running a company, a group, or a team, and if you manage to waste time for your people, you are essentially killing your productivity as well as other people's productivity. Make sure not to do that. It's not just your time. Think about the time of other people. If you manage to waste time for others, then it's like killing them early. Remember, you could kill a lot of people slowly. But it's not the end of the world. Don't worry. You can turn the tides upside down. What if you can make time? What if you saved time instead of wasting? Let's see how much time could you earn if you saved and spent time for your development every day. If you managed to save and use 100 minutes per day and lived 60 years, it is like you living an additional 4 years' time. Now, we cannot save time inside a box or bank locker, but we can use it to do useful and meaningful things. That way, we use up the time instead of wasting it. The non valuable and wasted time becomes an investment. The same applies for others as well. If you managed 1,000 people and if you managed to save 6 minutes per each person, then you would have saved 100 human hours. That's a lot of productivity. We have to take definitive decisions. Hanging in between two decisions wastes our time. So simply say yes to what you want or can and say no to what you don't or can't. If you like an apple, say I like it. If you like a cup of tea, say I like it. But when you don't like one of these, say that clearly and be done with it. You could simply say I like the coffee, but I don't like the apple. Or you can say I would have the apple, but I don't want the coffee. One important aspect of managing your time is to decide one of your tasks as the most important task of the day. And you decide this in the morning. This practice mandates you to prioritize your tasks. You have to give the maximum priority to just one task. This way, you will have only one task that is the most important to you. You will do it. And then you will have succeeded in executing that task. This practice will let you become confident as you do this every day. Your time management will improve through this because you will allocate time for one definitive task and you will definitely do it. It doesn't mean that you cannot do any other tasks except this most important task of the day. You can do all other tasks as well, but defining one most important task per day will bring you a habit of executing the most important task and make you feel confident. Time blocking is an important aspect of time management. When you know that you need a certain amount of time to do something, just allocate that time. If certain tasks need your clear attention without any disturbances, then allocate a time when others won't disturb you. For most people, this is the morning time, before you do other stuff and before any others disturb you. A few people use this for deep thinking. The sacrificed or the sacred time is not meant to do something for others. This is the time for you. This time is for you to do something about yourself. It can be learning, thinking, planning, or anything else, but it has to directly contribute to your development. That's your time. Save time by delegating the work to someone else if you can do it for less cost than what it would cost you to do it. Remember the monetary value of time we calculated earlier. If you wanted to clean the garage and it would take you 3 hours, and also your time's monetary value for 3 hours is about $150, and if it would cost someone else to do that below $100, then clearly hire people and delegate the work. You not only save $50, but also you're saving time to be used for something else. Automating tasks and scheduling help you save time. At the end of this course, we can talk about the tools that we can use to achieve this. If there are tasks that you can automate, say for example to send a mail at a particular time or to remember to call someone at a particular time or something else, try to automate as much as possible. It is not just tools. Sometimes you can delegate the small tasks to other people so that you don't need to do it, but it will be done by others on your time for you. It takes out the burden of you having to remember the task and doing it. If there are tasks that you cannot automate or delegate to others, then those tasks have to end up in your schedule. Remember, we talked about time blocking. Schedule the task and block the time needed for those tasks. Once you block a time for a task, the time is reserved. When you have scheduled a task with blocked time, it will be very easy to do that at that time and has very minimal chances of not being done, being delayed, or forgotten. There are team tasks that you will have to do with a team. In other words, most of our tasks are dependent on others, or so we think, but actually, there are a lot of tasks that we can do on our own. There are independent tasks. One of the best ways to managing our time is to do the independent tasks at the time when there are no interruptions. Ideally, the time slots available for these are the morning, beginning of the day, or at the end of the day. Do the independent tasks independently and block time for these tasks so that you can do these things on time as you planned. The tasks that depend on others might require your time to be adjusted. The benefit in separating your independent tasks from the dependent tasks is that you can take control of your time and do the tasks. This will make you feel confident. Over time, when you practice this, you will realize that whatever time that is not better managed is due to the tasks that are dependent on other people. Once you master your time with independent tasks, you will be able to convince people to get into your timeline and alignment so that others will revere your time and timing. You will become a lead in managing time with your circle of people. One risk in getting to managing time is that people give too much time to organizing time. You have to come up with a balance between spending time to organizing your time and spending time to do stuff. Because what's the point in spending too much time organizing your time and task list and then not doing anything in the list? It will feel difficult in the beginning when you start to manage your time with different tactics, but as you progress, you should know that the real purpose of your struggle is not prioritizing tasks and blocking time. The ultimate purpose is to do things in the available time and to manage the time efficiency in doing those tasks. Always evaluate how much time you spend on organizing time, how much you spend on efficiency. If you feel like you are spending more time in organizing time than using the time, then you need to revise your method. A few people feel like having a lot on their plate. If you are one of them and start to list out your tasks, you will end up with a large list. It's funny that people spend time prioritizing their tasks because there's a lot to be done. When you are out of time, the best way is to do things that can be done now. This will reduce your number of tasks that are pending, and this will also allow you to use your time right now. It is true that we have a lot of things to do, but it is also true that we don't need to do all of it now. That's why we try and prioritize things. Well, if that takes too much of your time, simply start doing what you can do now. Pick up one task and right away and do it. It is, in other words, prioritizing the tasks by possibility. What is possible now, just do it now. Not everything has to be done right now. When the time is limited and is running, of course the time runs out every single minute. There are things that can wait for a while. Sometimes things can wait for years. If there is something that can be done later, then it is better to be done later. Get on with the things that have to be done now, today, this week, and this month, or this year. Now you do remember the two lists that you wrote down on your notebook. The one list with all the things you wanted to do but did not have time to do. And the other list is with the things that you feel like you have done it for the last time in your life. Now, look through those lists carefully, especially the second list with the things that you have done for the last time. Is there something that can be done again and will have value added to your life? Well, then pick those things up and put back into your to-do list. And your to-do list has to be associated with your calendar. Define and allocate time for these things. And look at the first list with all the things you wanted to do but did not have time to do. Well, it is not that you did not have time to do. It is just you did not give importance to those things. Consider how many of those can be done quickly today, this week, this month, or this year. Try and put them down in your calendar as well. Pause this course and get on with your list. Put as much as possible into your calendar and come back to continue this course.